How's it going? How's it going? It's different. It's different. You have your funny.
But after all you, it made sense.
It made sense.
I remember you said the hospital, asked me.
Sometimes it sends people to the back of the hospital. It's an ambulance that we did.
Oh,
Did you? Come back to the front. Let's
Did
do
you
the
like
happens.
information that was said?
I did get that.
So what are we doing now?
So, we're going to be discussing both of your organizations that you have, and then we're going to discuss the events that you have. So, make sure you tell people how they can purchase their tickets and things like that, and how they can continue to be a part of your organization, follow your organization.
That's all we do. Yeah, he has a website.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. They can follow me on Facebook. That's what you're doing?
Cyrus is actually going this way. So after our interview, we did
So, you just take it.
yes. Well, we're going to be on Facebook now as well. So it's going to be posted. Right now it's live, so you're going to be able to see live action right now. Once it's completed, I'm going to end the broadcast, but the broadcast is still going to be posted on Facebook. But this time you'll be able to go back and share it.
Will it be on our pages on Facebook?
I can mention you, like tag your Facebook name in the video, so then you can I have.
don't worry about it.
I know we got a podcast for this long.
Don't worry about it. They're trying to give me the performance jazz festival.
Okay. Alright, everybody, welcome to our audit episode of the DTI Takeover Show. I am one of your hosts, Miss Kayla here. As always, what we like to do is highlight people who have different things going on within our communities, whether it's our small business owners, our organizations, whoever, anyone in the entertainment business, whatever it is, whoever you are. We like to spotlight and shine light on you here at Total Entertainment Radio. So the guests that I have sit with me, I am not going to take any longer to introduce them. They are making a difference in our communities here. I have Mr. Lamar Phillips with us today. Now, I need to some of your organization's here. Okay, so now you are International Enlightment Foundation.
Right.
Oh,
International Enlightenment Foundation.
International Enlightment Foundation. And I have Ms. Carolyn Phillips, Mr. Lamar's mother, who is the founder of Independent Networking Association.
That's right.
Oh, we did it. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are we today?
You're well. We're so happy that you invited us to be on the show. We're grateful and humble.
Thank you.
And I am somewhat rested. Slight day off. Still working, but it's going
Day off. Looks good. Good day off. So I'm going to start with you, Ms. Carolyn. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Carolyn Phillips, and sometimes people call me Caroline, they call me Diamond Diva, they call me the Networker. And I'm a retired school social work supervisor from Detroit Public Schools. I retired in 2010, and I've worked there for over 25 years as a clinical supervisor. And I am currently the president of Independent Networking Associates. We started our business in 1986. 36 years, we're celebrating our 36th anniversary. And we started out of the need to address situations with African American males. I was working as a consultant at Diversified Youth Services. Prior to that, I was employed there. And I went to Detroit Public Schools in 1985. And the executive director, Mr. Rolando Shore, invited me to come back and work in the summer. And we were working with, they call multiple problem youth. And my colleagues, Herschel Harris and Shepard Sanders and I, we collaborated and said, we got to do something about our males. And so we went to a conference a few years prior, and we met Dr. Jawanza Kajufu. So I saved his brochure, and I said, well, maybe now it's time to get in touch with Dr. Kajufu, because he had written a lot of books on countering the conspiracy to destroy Black boys. So I touched base with him. We invited him to Detroit in October of 1986. Now, we didn't have any money. The money that we had was my consultant money. So that's how we started our business. And Dr. Kajufu came. He had a lot of books, and I became one of his vendors. And so I made money off of selling the books. And eventually we opened up our own office in Southfield, Michigan. And at that time, my sister, Betty Walker, and my girlfriend, good girlfriend, best friend, Barbara Cornelius, and Aisha Morgan, they were our vendors.
Okay.
And so we started doing workshops. Dr. Kajufu and Fulani Prescott wrote a curriculum called Set Clay, Self-Esteem Through Culture Leads to Academic Excellence. So I went to Chicago, where his office is, along with other people from all over the country to learn how to use this curriculum. Once I learned how to use the curriculum, I brought it back to Detroit Public Schools, and Dr. Ingrid Draper, who was the executive director, was specialist, and we have to have this. So we introduced it to the Detroit Public Schools, we introduced it to the community, to churches, and we started doing training on it. And we would do it in the summertime for local schools, and we just continued on. And so after that, we started training all over the state of Michigan with the secular program. And it's a wonderful program. If you get it, they have done some revisions, but that's one of the things that we were doing. My son Lamar, who's sitting next to me, he started out as one of our youth. And he was our go-to guy. And he can tell you about his experience, but he was working at the health department as a student. And so he's been a part of Independent Networking Associates since the very beginning. And we call ourselves the Networkers. And we have on our team psychologists, social workers, behavioral specialists, informational technologists. And so where there's a need, I get a call and they say, can you come do some training? And we do training on culture, enrichment, stress management, team building. Right now, we just did a workshop last week at Hope Academy, and we did it on the social emotional learning, and we did it for the educators. And we also did a workshop on team building. And my colleagues was Yvette Carter and Darnell Blackburn and Alan Sims. And last year we were very involved with training at another clinic, and we were introducing concepts related to implicit bias and diversity and sensitivity for that audience. Coming up we're working on some new workshops. And I just want to give a shout out and memory to Dr. Cheryl Levine. She was one of our team members, and she made her transition. She was our researcher and our technical person. And Mr. William Iverson. Mr. Iverson was my partner, and he was one of the persons that worked at Wayne State University as a missions director. And we met him going through my career at Wayne State University. I was a young woman who was really not sure about social work. I wasn't planning on being a social worker. I was really wanted to be a school teacher, social studies teacher. But life had me on the track of social work. And my professor, Phyllis Brown, said, "You make a good social worker." Well, that was never in my plan. but my personal life had me in that situation also. So I graduated with my bachelor's. I applied at Wayne State University School of Social Work. I was admitted. My internship was at Detroit Public Schools and Homes for Black Children. My intention was never to be a school social worker. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I got hired at Homes for Black Children. All of my friends got hired at Detroit Public Schools. However, on my journey, I had a certification as a school social worker. The director, Mildred Ellis, asked me to come work there. And I said, "Mrs. Ellis, I'm not ready." And she was I wasn't ready. I was at Diversified, I was happy. and we were serving Detroit Public School students. So she asked me in, and I said, "Okay, I'll come." But my brother, John, he was murdered. And I said, "No, I can't do it. I need to wait." That was in December of 1984. So then, in March, she asked me to come again. I said, "No, if I come now, I won't have a job in the summer." So I stayed at Diversified. So the summer of that year, Lamar was getting ready to go cast tech. And I said, "I'll go." I got a call from personnel this time.
They said you coming, like no excuses.
And right, and I went and I didn't look back. And I'm so glad because the wonderful thing was I went to Mumford High School. I did my intern in Mumford. When I got hired at DPS, that was my first assignment. So it was meant to be. And then I became a supervisor, and I was supervisor over Mumford, the social workers at Mumford High School. And at that time, they called it Region D. We had, we would have regions. We had, different areas. And so I was just really happy to be a school social worker because it fulfilled my dream really as a teacher. Because I was working with teachers, I was doing training, and some of my staff, they still laugh, I retired, and they said, "Yeah, Carolyn, you was always trying to teach us something." And so I did. I mean, I believed in excellence and integrity, and I was well respected. I was kind of tough.
I can see that. I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, when I say tough, it was like,
Are you laughing like you?
we got
I know.
we got to get the job done. I believe in having fun. And trust me, we had a lot of parties on our staff. But first, before we had a party, we got to do the work. And so we're still doing that, and we're blessed because now we're into entertainment and cultural entertainment. And so I'm
kind of got to bring in your social studies now.
Oh yeah, we bring
all
it
that can tie
all
into.
together. But the good news is that we're doing it on behalf of International Enlightment Foundation. Our proceeds are given to that foundation. We have a small business, and my office is in my home. And so it's a home-based business now. We used to have an office, and so now that things change, we go with the change. And if anybody want to be a part of our educational enrichment program, they can contact me or Lamar. We just had a nice fundraiser in the Detroit Opera House. Ain't Too Proud to Beg. And that was our kickoff for our 36th anniversary. We had social workers there, we had the community, we had a church family. My church family is an ordered official ministry. And my spiritual leader was my Virginia Queen. And my pastor is Fisher Dot Savage. So we just do it all.
We do everything.
Not everything, but we do enough to keep us busy. And I love giving back to the community. And my theme is when you've been blessed, pass it on. Yeah. And I keep myself energized. I like being around young people because you can learn so much. And I'm a lifelong learner. And in order for you to grow, you have to give back and you have to ask yourself, what do I need to learn today? So my goal now is to learn more technology, be more useful, and enjoy life. Have fun. Everything you do, you should have fun doing it.
Thank you, Miss Carolyn. Mr. Lamar, you up?
What she said.
Right, that's it. All right, y'all, until next time.
First, your corrections. So
I'm gonna look at you like that.
That's
You
okay.
said a few corrections.
she didn't basically make the times together though. She left in '85 because my mother did pass away. That was my freshman year at Cass.
Okay.
So I went from Ann Arbor Trail, 500 students, to Cass, 3,500 students. It was stressful, and I had to learn to manage that stress. And going into my sophomore year, now I'm running track, I'm in the band, working with my grades, and so that was perfect timing. My aunt, who also a social worker, Mary Duncan, was a science class at the time. I didn't even know it. So this whole relationship with social work began with her. So at home with my children, I was in the basement playing with toys. So that's where I grew up with that. While she was at Wayne State, they used to have drama class. So at 3, 4, 5, I was down there learning. And so I grew up on Wayne's campus. After that, I got into music from 7 years old going forward, and took lessons at Wayne State. So I never left from 3 to 17. I was always there. And now as an adult, I'm there either giving lessons or checking on people or having workshops. So that's always what's going on. The other thing is that she was correct. I did work for the health department. That was later. Someone from the church home introduced me to Planned Parenthood. They had a male involvement program. At that time, it was an epidemic of HIV, teenage pregnancy, and a lot of violence was happening in gangs and Young Boys Incorporated, a lot of things going on. So that was the perfect place to be. So I'm getting my spiritual training in one area, my artistic training somewhere else. And then by that age, I started getting leadership training. All the social workers in here, right?
Right.
New Detroit Incorporated, Paul Harvey was the executive director? President. So at that time, I'm learning to do Detroit more about political leadership and things of that nature. And then I told her, what I go to a friend told me about at Hartford Memorial, the NAACP Youth Council. So that's I just went to one college to I wanted to be the president of the organization and learn a lot more. So a lot of these things, I was never in her program, but the lifestyle came to me because of what I wanted to do.
Right.
The other thing about, then I'll go back to that first conference. I was working for Planned Parenthood, and we were assigned that conference. We worked with the males and things of that nature about health and reproductive health care and about responsibility, all those things. But once you got into set play, to be honest, she doesn't know that. I never sat down and studied the whole curriculum that got transmitted. I was living the life of it.
Right.
So all the self-esteem through culture leads to academic excellence. I was inundated, right? And so for Lamar Prescott there in Atlanta, I went to school at Morehouse in Atlanta. So I sat down with Ms. Prescott face to face and talked through everything with regards to Dr. Kajuku. I read everything else, all the other books. Now I'm working on my doctorate. And I've interviewed him. We talked some more about going to the next level of that. So where he concentrated a lot on African Now they do have the curriculum expanded, but he'll just say in the website, look at the Latinx community and apply it as such. Look at this community and apply it as such. For me, in the International Enlightenment Foundation, of course, I'm actually looking at all of the culture, not telling someone to do it, I'm actually doing it. And that's what we're doing at Michigan State as well, is a lot of our coursework deals with multiculturalism, anti-racism, and just undoing, same thing Eastern Michigan University, where I'm also working on master's in special ed. A lot of colonization and reversing, because that's what we see in dealing with institutional racism. More the results of it. We see it in economics, we see it in politics, we see it in healthcare. So we address any of those things. Now, to break it down to the younger version, so everything that you discussed about what an independent network of associates does, and some of the colleagues actually grew up with that network. Right. I do it to you. But from the perspective of, you see the trajectory, let's focus this walk of yours. And I particularly do it through the arts. So that's my forte. That's just the hook. To give. Yes, absolutely. Because we concentrate on, it's basically engagement, education, enlightenment, and empowerment. I say them in that order on purpose. Because when you're empowered, when you're enlightened, you see things from a higher perspective. Education alone is not enough. You have the information, but now how are you going to address it and use it? So a lot of what we do is character development and leadership and entrepreneurship. Again, concentrating on the arts, but we know it goes in places. Just a small shift. I work at King High School, right? We have a new curriculum, not sort of math, science, and applied technology. Computer information systems and commerce. And the newest one, sports, medicine, management, and marketing. They all work together, and we see how the arts flows through all of that. There's a program right now with the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit Business where they're working together, teaching all of those things. So it comes naturally through our foundation, and also another business, Legacy Arts Productions. That's the for-profit side of it. I started teaching not just preparing Black Planet, but I started teaching lessons when I was 13. So, and everywhere I've gone, just like I was sat down in this press house space, and sat with not only Dr. but his wife, she was he's a talent. He writes the books and does research.
She's right.
I spend more time with her just asking questions. So, but that's important,
right?
Because when you get into that, your English language arts is in the contracts. Mathematics is also, in your puzzle when you're playing. Your science is science for itself. And so when you put all of those together, they all come through in the arts. So right now, our focus is with my particular band program, but we are reaching out into the community in other places. One of the things we're working on right now is to be able to work with, there's football everywhere. They started 5 years old. Our plan now is to start working with, this is what we did in the South. We started watching out. And we here in Detroit, most of us started at the adults. We started in 3rd grade. When I taught in the South, I was second semester, same grade. Ma'am, can I see this student, this one, this student? And all the time they were in 5th grade, they were doing event planning on their own. So when they got to high school, it was great. Most of them are now, the college graduates now. So I did the same thing here. I worked at Detroit American Academy for National Heritage Academies for 13 years. Same thing. 10 years in DeKalb County before I came here with the film drumline. Most of that staff, the consultants, came from those big schools, the big high schools and colleges. Down there we have 300-400 people in their band program. It's a lot different than here. But Detroit's going to come back. We're getting there. The pandemic really hurt us, but we're going to come back. Even from before the pandemic, we had some work to do. So our concentration now is continuing to focus on high schoolers because they're so close to adulthood.
Right.
You can't let them go. But I have my eyes on them. Yes, that book, Conspiracy to Destroy, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, it was called the 4th grade syndrome. When children are younger, K1, 2, they're learning to read. From third grade on, they're reading to learn. Little kids learn to read. And they have that confidence. It's a state law now. You have to be on grade level by third grade because you be retained. And you have to pass certain tests now. But that third grade stage is where the shift happens in education. What has happened prior to now, the school to prison pipeline. What happens in third grade on those standardized tests, those who have access to that, they start planning. College, prison, they're both for-profit entities. And they can see from those test scores. Exactly. So people like myself, other educators standing together, and it's not a color thing. Many wonderful educators across the state and across the country standing in that gap. Not as a solution to the problem, just as contributors. The families have to come up with some of those solutions. And when you engage the entire family, I deal with the adults and the decision makers. I deal with the youth and the other educators who are on both sides of the fence.
Right.
So it's attacked. She consults me, I consult her. Mom, people are tired, they don't want to go to that training. And she says, well, you need to get these resources. So we kind of go back and
Go
forth.
back and forth, that's fine.
But with that, working with the younger students, when they hit that third grade, which is why I say that you're starting the arts, people have a focus. That next year, that fourth grade syndrome, kids, especially boys, kind of check out. It's mostly female teachers in elementary school. They're not listening anymore at a certain age. They're listening to their friends, they're paying attention to what goes on in the neighborhood.
Right.
So you're in between. Just like the conspiracies, they get that fourth grade syndrome. On the flip side, you ever heard the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No.
Okay. Robert Kiyosaki wrote this book. It's a Hawaiian investor. And it's all about financial literacy. The book and a whole series, Cash Flow for Kids, all that, is written on the fourth grade level. They're talking about the stock market, they're talking about all kinds of investing and tax strategy. You read is written on the fourth grade level. So there's that place in between. And so all of I'm a music teacher.
Yes.
I'm teaching social studies on a regular basis. I'm using ELA. We write, we talk, we explain ourselves and everything that we do. So that being said, focus still is on business. So when they can plan, they can speak, they can do what's necessary to not only solve today's problem, start planning for the next one. We can do that.
I want to get into your events that you have coming up. I definitely want to make sure we get that out there, that information out there. It's three of them. Okay. Ms. Carolyn.
Well, we are going to do Respect, and that's going to be Saturday, October 29th at the Music Hall. The second one is Hamilton, and that's going to be November 20th, and that's going to be at the Fisher Theater. And the last one for the year is going to be Tina Turner Music Hall, and that's going to be at the Detroit Opera House. We already sold our tickets for Hamilton, so we're not doing any more ticket sales.
Okay.
But if people want to join us for Respect, they can contact Lamar or myself. And my cell number is 313-549-6874. Or they can, send me an email at Carolyn_Phillips2010@Comcast.net.
All right.
So we're looking for, we had a wonderful turnout for Ain't Too Proud. So we're looking for a big turnout for Respect and for Tina. People have already made reservations, but you gotta pay. So for Tina, it's $75. We got main floor seats, and it's $85 for, did I say Tina 75?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me back up. For Respect, it's $75. For Tina, it's $85.
Okay.
And the sooner you pay, then you get the best seats.
Right. Right.
First come, first serve.
First serve. Okay. Mr. Lamar, how can people follow your organization, what you all have going on?
So they can follow us on Facebook at International Enlightenment Foundation, us on Instagram, Enlightment, International Enlightment. The website for the foundation is www.iefcommunity.org. The phone number is 313-444-2390.
Hey everybody, y'all heard it here first on Total Entertainment Radio. It was a pleasure having you all with us today. We are looking forward to seeing what else comes from you all. Until next time, everybody, I am your host, Miss Kayla. I am signing out. Peace.
I don't know. I'm trying to listen in, man.
Thank you.
That's Silas.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He really did.
I just come here and touch stuff. How you doing? Oh, did you? I look the same.
Oh, you did pop in on the camera.
Oh yeah, I did.
You did.